Fusion Radio with Brian Stinson. You know, every weekend I get a chance to share somebody that's doing some awesome things with you. And this next guest is an artist and entrepreneur and is just doing so many awesome things that, man, I can't wait to share some of those awesome things with you, and especially you. My girl, all the way from New York, man. Let's give it up and clap it up for Vero G. Welcome to Fusion Radio.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored. Thank you.
So let's get into your entrepreneurial efforts and all that you're doing on that end. If you could, go into all the different entrepreneurial efforts that you're doing and state where people can find out more information, maybe, what inspired you to start these different entrepreneurial efforts.
So first and foremost, I just want to thank you for having me on the show. Secondly, I just want to pretty much, I'll make it brief, where I started out, like I said, being an independent artist, and I still am an independent artist as we speak right now. And, I felt like, giving back is something that's a main attribute that I have to do in my mission. So with that said, I started doing my own organization a couple of years back, I think like 3 years now, which is called the Vero G Spotlight TV, which we started doing that, helping, local independent artists out there to get them platforms so they could be heard. Prior to that, we actually extended that now towards radio, which we do now. We'll be making our 2-year mark as of next year in January. So it's amazing milestones we're doing. Besides that, I felt like there was more to be added to that plateau. And with that in mind, I said, let's do now a magazine, because a lot of artists, instead of, these are things that they need to get their promotion out there and their marketing and to help them along the way with their career. I felt like these are main elements that are amazing to help out and give back to the community and help out the local artists. And then prior to that, we also started doing a back-to-school event. This year was the second year for the back-to-school event we did, which is called Vero G Back to School. And it's based here in New York City at our own community, and it was amazing just to see people come and gravitate and enjoy, the live performances from various local artists, to get book bags and get different things that, are essential for the children, especially for starting the school year for them. And I want to do so much more for the community and more for everyone out there, and especially in a time of need where we're going through this crisis of the pandemic. I wanted to give more and give back to everyone who's listening.
How did your artist name come about?
My full name is Veronica Gonzalez. So many years ago, people were like, my dad, may he rest in peace, and my family used to always call me Vero, for short, instead of saying the full name. So I was like, what, that was kind of catching. And G was pretty much from my last name, Gonzalez. So I said, what, let me kind of make it short and sweet and, kind of catchy. So I was like, I think Vero G is a nice ring to it. So, and I think it just stuck with me after, putting it out there and that.
What got you into music?
So many years ago, actually, I started at the age of 7 years old. Music was already in tune with that age. I knew for sure at that time I wanted to do something beautiful with my talent and to put it out there and do it at that time. So with that said, there was many musical influences in my life, from the great Selena to Mark Anthony. The list goes on. So many people that influenced me to this day. And I feel pretty much using that installment with that, and also just loving to perform and making great music. I felt that was something that was embedded in me, and to pursue it was the next milestone in my life to do that.
What sets you apart from other artists that's out right now?
I think everybody has their own beautiful gift or their own way to express themselves. And I think everybody's different in their own way. But for me particularly is with my music, it's inspiring, it's uplifting, and it's also putting a positive message across my music with that.
What's your creative process like and vibe like when you're in the studio?
How I usually get my songwriting process is usually I just go with when I hear the beat, or if it gravitates to me, or something that I could put the words behind that. Usually that's how I start about doing that process. And pretty much it's like a puzzle. It's just putting it together. And then when I go in the studio, I have to make sure I'm prepared, I have everything put together. And then when I go in the studio, I just go and kill it, pretty much.
So I'm going to allow you to be the program director of this interview. You brought by 2 singles, Come With Me and Let Him Heal You. Which one would you like to play first?
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Oh, okay. I think Let Him Heal You is the perfect if you like to play that.
So what's the inspiration behind Let Him Heal You?
Both songs are already out for the Here I Am album, which is out now, guys. You could get that at all digital platforms. That song particularly, I was going through a really tough time, and with that said, I felt like I'm a very spiritual person, and I have a strong faith in God. So with that in mind, I never did a Christian or gospel song at all, and this was the first time kind of breaking that barrier for me, and I felt like at that time when I did the song, I felt like God was telling me, this is a song you have to put out. So with that in mind, I put it together. I heard the instrumental. I put the work, the work behind that. And I just feel like this is a time, especially with the pandemic going on, this is a time where we all have to heal in our own way to overcome these battles. So with that in mind, this song, Let Him Heal You, it's a beautiful, uplifting Christian song, and I hope you guys can enjoy that.
Gotta put your trust in Him. He will lead the way. Let Him heal you. Give me strength every day. Let Him heal you. Blessings come my way. Let Him heal you. Give me strength every day. Let Him heal you. Blessings come my way. God, put your trust in Him. He will lead the way. Open your heart to Him. Take your pain away. Our God, let Him heal you. Give me strength every day. Let Him heal you. Blessings come my way. Let Him heal you. Give me strength every day. Let Him heal you. Blessings come my way. Out of the darkness, you were always there. I was torn and broken. I'm back in your grace. Lord, I will praise you. Lord, I will. Let Him heal you. Give me strength every day. Let Him heal you. Blessings come my way. Let Him heal you. Give me strength every day. Let Him heal you. Blessings come my way. Let God give you the way and the strength to go on and move on in your life. Let Him lead you to the way, to the path of your destiny. May we all go into one. Give me strength every day. Gotta put your trust in Him. He will lead the way.
Fusion Radio with Brian Stinson. My guest today is artist and entrepreneur Vero G. She's right here with me, right here on Fusion Radio. So you sort of alluded to before we went to your song, Let Him Heal You, that you've got this project out called Here I Am. Tell us all about Here I Am. What should we know? There's some special people that you work with. Go all in on telling us about Here I Am, the new project.
Here I Am is my fourth album, and it's an EP album, so it has, I think, 5 to 6 songs. This album, I did it this year, and I felt this is, the best time to put it out because it actually shows the growth as me as an artist, overcoming my other songs and other projects I've done prior to that. So this is, one of my biggest project I'd done, and I felt down showing who I am and the growth as being an artist. And here I am is pretty much just that push I needed to put great music and continue to inspire people along the way with that.
In addition to, you putting together this album, one thing that I am like super, super proud about with you is, and we heard this in the beginning, is not just you wanting to be an artist and put music out to inspire others, but you actually wanting to help artists. And so I want to sort of tap back into that, because you've got, 2 books out that really speak to helping artists, with the music business side. If you could talk about those 2 books and talk about where they're available for the artists to take advantage of this powerful information.
But particularly in the industry in general, I feel like it's a lot of people kind of like cutthroating each other, and they're looking out for themselves. And I felt this is what my dad kind of instilled in me at a very young age. He's like, you have to give back. That's plus, and you have to help people, because if you can't help yourself, who are you going to help along the way? So with that in mind, I used that mindset when I started doing the first, like I mentioned before, the TV show and the radio and everything else. Now with the platforms we have provided for artists, I felt like I want to help people, to guide them and help them, because it's been a struggle for me for many years of being an independent artist. And now it's a little better for me, but before it was a hardship. So with that said, I felt like I needed to help people, and I'm still continuing to help people along the way. And just to guide them, we need that. We need to help each other out instead of the negative side too. We need more people to continue on these platforms and help people. We can't just look out for ourselves and then push people back. That's not fair, and that's not how I was raised in that sense. So I felt utilizing that mindset and helping people is a good deed, but at the same time, it's going to benefit everyone along the way.
And those 2 books that's out for those of you that's listening, one is called If Walls Could Talk, and the other one is entitled Music 101. It's a guidebook for up-and-coming artists to, know your rights and just all things the music biz. And, salute out to you for putting those books out. So you've got some dope accomplishments that I'm excited about getting into. I talked about it at the beginning of this interview, and I want you to go into all your accomplishments so far and what each one of them means to you.
It's just been amazing, this journey I've been going through for many years. A few of the accomplishments I had the honor and privilege to encounter in my life in this industry is pretty much first time when I had my first ever trophy many years ago when I was in junior high school, 22, and just that was my first ever experience to perform live with a group of people and see people's feedback and turn together the first place. It was for the Youth Leadership Anti-Drug, Anti-Violence Talent Show, and we won that award. It was an amazing feeling, and since then I feel like I needed that buzz, like I got to keep working harder. So with that in mind, I continue working harder and doing what I do with music and putting it out there. And down the line, I got other accomplishments and other things along the way. And one of them this year, I won the 5th LDM award show for Latin Artist of the Year for the song I did with Cuba Link called Come With Me. It's like a bilingual Spanish and English song, and it was one of the biggest songs I ever done in my life. And a big shout out to him and Goya for the opportunity to work with him as well. And it's just amazing to see that your hard work and dedication and determination is paying off.
Veronica, Cuban Link.
Girl G, vente conmigo. Come with me.
Mami, vente conmigo. Sé que tú no estás contenta con él. Se te ve en tus ojos perdido. Él ya no te sabe querer.
Vente conmigo. Come with me. Vente conmigo. Come with me. Come with me. Can't you see we're meant to be? Give me a love, just one shot to make you mine. Show you to love you and blow your mind. Tú eres mío, yo soy tuya. A love so divine.
Yeah. Show me the love. Yeah. You always think you love me. Yeah. Show me the love. vente conmigo. Sé que tú no estás contenta con él. Se te ve en tus ojos perdido. Él ya no te sabe querer. Chiquitica, vente conmigo, pa' poder acariciarte tu piel, darte besitos de cabeza hasta el ombligo. Ven conmigo, olvídate de él. Ay, olvídate de él. So baby, are you gonna come with me? Ven mami, let me set you free. I need to know right now, are you down to ride or die? Ride or die.
You're the one for me. Boy, papi, I'ma follow your lead. And I'ma hold you down till the day I die. Cause you're my guy, my ride.
I bet your man can't do it like that. No cap, still at 24 karat gold Mac. Let's throw back, rapper that'll give you no slack. Hold that, I'll keep it till your eyes roll back. And have your toes tapping like a ballerina when you up in my arena. Give you that vitamina, make you proud to be Latina. And change your whole demeanor, it'll have you feeling leaner. From the way you talk to the way that you caminas. Word of Selena, I've been dreaming of you, even you do. So we can do what we've been meaning to do. It's us two, no one else needs to be in the crew. Up in the mountaintop together, overseeing the view. Am I being a fool? And believing that you love me and always thinking of me. Girl, why don't you just leave? It must be a reason, don't hush me. You told me to trust you, now trust me. Mami, vente conmigo. Sé que tú no estás contenta con él. Se te ve en tus ojos perdido. Él ya no te sabe querer. Chiquitica, vente conmigo, pa' poder acariciarte tu piel, darte besitos de cabeza hasta el ombligo. Ven conmigo, olvídate de él.
Fusion Radio with Brian Stinson, man. We're talking with the awesome, she's an artist and she's an entrepreneur. Her name is Vero G. And you just heard the single. It's entitled Come With Me right here on Fusion Radio. So another thing that I really think speaks to women, and I can't wait to hear you talk about this, is your documentary on trials and tribulations. I really feel like what you're getting ready to share is going to bless women who have or may possibly in the future be in a situation like this. So if you could go into, the documentary Trials and Tribulations, and just, during that time when you were putting this together, your thought process, and then of course the documentary details different things you were going through, like really bring people in on what you were going through.
This project was done around 2 years ago. A big shout out to my management, J Empire Media, who was actually the film director also for this project. How we came about this was pretty much, I wanted to tell my testimony, my story. And also it's based on the book, which is called Trials and Tribulations, and Autobiography of Vero G. I mean, you guys could get that at www.amazon.com, or any of my other books, like you mentioned, they're all available there as well. Now, the concept of the Trials and Tribulations is based on the book, but also it talks in depth about what things I went through mental health, being a domestic violence survivor, being a rape victim, being in the foster care system, being homeless and pregnant, and all these obstacles I went through in my life. It talks a bit on a documentary, and you get to see more in depth who I am besides being the artist. You get to see the inner side of who I am and how I came about with my music, how it helped me to heal through my own wounds, as they say, and to help people, and just use that as motivation to continue on my mission, as they say. So this document got released around, I think, a year ago or so. It's available on YouTube. You guys could check that out under my YouTube channel, Vero G Spotlight Network. And, pretty much a lot of people got great feedback on that. And also we submitted this year that film, and it got picked up on Silver State Film Festival that's based in Las Vegas. And we didn't win, but it got seen. So it speaks volumes. A girl from the Lower East Side, New York, had big dreams, and now she's finally achieving something and it wants to help people. That just speaks many volumes, and I just am so grateful for that.
In addition to that documentary, Trials and Tribulations, you've got merchandise out right now. So what inspired the whole movement to, put out merchandise and, of course, tell people where they can support you when it comes to purchasing your merchandise?
I said, besides the platforms we have, I said, as for myself, I said, what's the way people could, actually get pretty much not a piece of you, but, something that is of your brand, and could, rock it or promote it, So I said, what's the best way? It's merchandising. So with that said, I pretty much was like, let me start out. This happened around a year ago. And pretty much I said, let me just put out hoodies, jackets. I think they're called like beanie hats. different things, different merchandise, T-shirts, handbags, all that sort. So I said, you know what, I want to continue on that, that legacy in that sense, and also to put out there so people could, if they want, if there's like my supporters, my fans, they could buy it and they could rock it. So I've been seeing a great progress on that, and people are just appreciating that, like, wow, it's really cool, and just to see them take pictures of it, like, hey. So yeah, my merchandise, if you guys are interested, you could pretty much contact me. My Instagram is @officialverog, and then we'll take from there. We could do orders and that sort.
Clap it up to you for all the different things that you're involved with and just the encouragement that you provide to others. From a social media standpoint, do it again. Give them the information on how they can follow you and stay in tune with everything that you're doing.
So you guys can follow me on my Instagram @officialverog. I also have a Facebook artist page, Verog. Or pretty much you can look at @VERO2884. That's a direct, pretty much for the artist page. You also can find my website at www.verogmusic.com. And pretty much those are the places I usually be around more than ever. But I also have a Twitter, which is @VERO2884. Also, you guys could vote for right now as we speak for both songs you have, by the way, Brian, and Mikama and Let Him Heal You, that you could vote for me guys once a week. That's at www.ldmradio.com/vote. You guys can vote once a week. We're trying to see if next year I win another award. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, I wish you the best. Continued success on all that you do. Thank you so much for stopping by Fusion Radio today and, sharing your music, giving us insight into your different career moves and your entrepreneurial efforts and everything. It just truly was a pleasure. And, you're just a beacon of light. Just listening to you, that anyone that may be down, they can look at, the different accomplishments that you're doing. And I feel like it'll send positive vibes to them to get them, going in different things that they would like to achieve.
And I want to thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you. And for your listeners, I just want to thank you guys. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you.